afternoon, it's Kyle Coberline, a truck and RV sales professional at Bluegrass International Trucks, Buses, RVs, and Ideal Lease. I'm standing here in front of a unit L-639. Pretty sure that's correct. Yes, this is L-639. It's a 2016 International 4300. It's got, we'll look in the dash, but it's got just a little over 100,000 miles on it. We took it and had a 24 foot by 102 steel platform installed on it. But we'll go over the truck. Today, we just got these in yesterday from the body company. So today is September the 23rd, 2022. And I've actually got two of these units available that are 33,000 pound GVW. So I'll get to it and we'll just go around the truck real quick so you can see what we got available. I've got the hood popped on this unit. It is a Cummins ISB 250 horsepower, 660 foot-pounds of torque, and that is it's got a Allison 3000 series RDS transmission behind it, highly desirable. And that does have PTO capabilities if that's something that you need to add to the unit or some form of equipment that requires a PTO. A lot of these trucks, the medium duty stuff, depending on who it was ordered for, potentially if it had like an Allison 2000 series in it, like highway, or even a 3000 highway, you wouldn't have a PTO accommodation. So it's nice that this does have PTO if somebody needs it. International does a great job with translucent reservoirs, so when you pop the hood, it's super easy to get to, windshield wiper fluid, your power steering fluid, just so you can easily check those things to see if they need to be topped off. This unit does have steel wheels on it. We'll go across the front here. For added safety and visibility, we've got hood mounted mirrors that are convex. We've mounted the air dryer up here in the front behind the bumper, so easy to get to. The front axle, this is a 33,000 pound GVW vehicle. It's a front axle and suspension of 12,000 pounds. The rear axle is 21,000, so it makes it a 33,000. But a lot of times when we build these trucks, we want to beef up the suspension a little bit, just so that if you've got a load that's offset to one side or the other, the truck doesn't lean. So the suspension's actually a 23,005 with 4,500 pound auxiliary springs. Still makes it, the rear is technically 21,000 pound because of the limiting factor of the axle and not the suspension. But it's nice to have that added suspension capability when you're driving down the road. You got your filter minder here for your air filter. Of course, your door mounted mirrors. It is a switchback exhaust that is mounted under the passenger door with a vertical pipe. And then this is that 24 foot bed that's 102 wide. We've got stake pockets and an outside rail so you can attach your straps. Your bulkhead with the graded windows so that you can look out the back of the window and what's behind you or to look at your load. We had this body installed by Tebco in Richmond. They do some really good work for us, and they're not too far away, and so they're a pleasure to work with. There's your switchback exhaust down there. You can tell the rails and stuff have been cleaned up at install, and the air tanks that are mounted underneath the rail. If a customer wanted to add anything to this truck, toolboxes or anything else, this has a nice clean CA on it, so you could easily mount other stuff underneath of this bed if you wanted to. We don't like to do too much before we sell them, just because it gives customers option, because it wouldn't take much. Like, I want a big toolbox. Well, that's not a big deal for us to get that added to the truck, or if you want to do it yourself. Of course, like I said, steel wheels front and rear. You got LED lighting, ICC bumper. You've got some clean rail over here as well on the driver's side. We do have our battery box here, which has got, of course, your batteries and stuff in it. And then it's an aluminum 100-gallon fuel tank with a 7-gallon DEF tank in front of that. It does have a block heater. And this unit is also clean idle certified for CARB states like California. Here's a look at the truck with the hood down. One of the things that's I've been with selling international trucks for 15 years, and one of the things that's really nice about International's vehicles is their sloped hood and the way they do their ergonomics. The visibility outside of the cab from the driver's seat is best in class. So I mean, it's a safe, not only a reliable truck to use, but it's also a safe vehicle to put you or your other drivers in. One of the things you can do when you're looking at trucks, and I've mentioned this in other videos, is if you sit in the driver's seat, just have somebody go out and stand in front of the truck and have them walk forward until you can no longer see their feet. You'd be surprised on an International how close they're standing to the front of the truck, which means you can see that much more in front of you. One thing I'll quickly mention too is the warranty. So this 2016 is eligible for International's Bridge the Gap warranty. With the truck shortage in today's industry, especially on the new stuff, International came out with this awesome program called Bridge the Gap, and so we can put warranties on these vehicles, and it's not an aftermarket warranty where you got to call, you bring your truck to a dealership, you tell them to call an 800 number and get approval. This is a International extended coverage policy. So when you bring your truck here, that policy is attached to that VIN number. The dealership can see that and they can take care of processing the warranty with their International. So I mean, most of these vehicles that I'm selling, the customers see the value in adding the policies that cover it for towing, engine, emissions, and total vehicle. Inside the cab, you've got your fire extinguisher, and of course a battery disconnect. That's a super nice feature. That's not standard. So if the truck's going to sit for over a weekend or several days, you can cut power to the cab, just so that reduce the chances of draining the batteries and have to jump start it. Behind the seat here, we've got a remote power module. So International has multiplex wiring, and so we've got switches in the dash that can be utilized. So you basically would use this pin here, and you could tie in for a hot. So if you want to run any additional lighting or equipment, 20 amp max per load, and 80 amp total on a remote power module. So if you want to put any kind of LED strobes on the truck, or something that requires power inside the cab, you can do that through the remote power module, and then you'll now have a switch in the dash that will power that feed. A lot of people don't know what's really neat about our multiplex Diamond Logic electrical is that those switches can be programmed too. So if you've got a switch, I do a lot of snow and ice stuff. So let's say you got automatic tire chains on a vehicle, so you could tie a switch to deploy the tire chains, but then we can program that switch to automatically pull the tire chains back up if the vehicle goes above 20 miles an hour, or not to deploy if it's not moving more than 5. So there's a lot of cool, we can program tons of different stuff into those switches if you have a certain application that you want to put on the vehicle. Pretty neat, and a lot of people don't think about that. So as you can see, this unit as of today has 129,119 miles. So it is a low mileage unit. It's ready to rock and roll and to be put to work. And then we'll also look down here, International, you've got your heated mirror function, and then you've also got a lamp check function. That's part of that International multiplex wiring, and they're Diamond Logic electrical. You can hit that button, and then you can go, like if you're driver or yourself, you can go out and just kind of give a quick walk around the truck. Every light, including the lights on the body, will cycle through left turn, rear turn, brake, headlights, flashers, so you can easily check to make sure all your bulbs are burning. The only bulbs that does not verify is your backup. So that's something that you have to manually do, but it does go through all your other important lights. In the cab, we have an air ride suspension seat with a high back. Also has that armrest that is clutch. It's a simple feature that a lot of drivers love, just having that armrest there for the right arm, especially if you're doing some longer driving. And then we've got a 2-man passenger seat in this rig with the under seat storage, so you can lift up that bench and there's storage underneath it. On the steering wheel, we do have our cruise control buttons on the left and right of the steering wheel with the city horn in the middle. And then of course over here on the right hand side, we've got, I can't see if it's in the frame or not. Yep, right here. We've got our park regen. I don't recommend doing park regens if you can avoid it. If the vehicle's needing a regen, the best thing you can do is go out and work the truck and gear it down if you have to. Those are things, if you want to know more and kind of some tips or want me to come do driver trainings, just let me know and I can work with you or your drivers. Of course, your PTO switch for on and off, like I said, this unit is PTO ready, and you can see all these blank switches. They can be programmed for different functions in the truck through that remote power module that's located behind the seat. Not just so you know, not all remote power modules are located inside the cab. That's an extra feature. It keeps it out of the environment and corrosion in those connections, just a lot less issues, because technically remote power modules can be located underneath the cab or even at the rear of the frame. And then of course our best in class HVAC system, a radio, of course your parking brake. We've got a 12-volt plug here and then a cigarette here, which can also be used for 12-volt. Little cubby hole. Your shift pad for your Allison 3000 series transmission. Got some cubbies up top here, storing paperwork. You can put a radio up there if you want. LED dome light. I always order my trucks with orange seat belts, just more of a reminder to the driver to wear a seat belt, or if he's driving, there's some of the drivers really like the orange seat belts because then law enforcement can see clearly they are wearing a belt and don't get pulled over thinking they're not. Coming into the cab, I should have mentioned, and this is a good thing just to tell people, is you got 2 steps coming in the cab. Sorry, it's not. We just got this back yesterday, so we haven't had a chance to clean it up really well. Then you got a grab handle inside of the door here, and so it's really easy to maintain 3 points of contact the entire time you're entering the cab and exiting the cab, because our door handle up here, this pocket, is actually rated for 300 pounds. So you can hold this as well as the handle over here as you're entering and exiting the cab. And then, should have mentioned, tilting telescopic steering wheel, of course with the air ride suspension, so you can really dial in that comfort for the driver depending on their height and size when they're driving the vehicle. I mean, a lot of that's important safety stuff that the driver should be comfortable and everything adjusted so that it's easy for him to maintain and operate that vehicle. The last thing that I'll point out on this truck is International, once again, thinking about driver and being over the road and just ease of access to do your job and just everyday work life. As they made it really easy. You reach up here, you can pull out, this comes down, and now you have access to all your fuses and circuit breakers. The last thing I'll point out on this truck is that International, with driver in mind and your workday, is to if you need to get to fuses or check something, if something's not working right, lights or whatever it may be, is that you reach up here, you pull down behind the diamond, and there's access to all your breakers and fuses. They've even got some spare fuses stored up here. And then on the back of the cover is so this is like super simple. Just on the back of the cover, you've got the helps if it's not upside down. You got the diagram for what fuses go to what. Hi, once again, my name is Kyle Coberline. I'm a truck and RV sales professional at Bluegrass International Trucks, Buses, RVs, and Ideal Lease. I can't thank you enough for watching another one of my videos. Please like and subscribe to my channels or wherever you found the video at, right? It could be YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. So, I do appreciate likes and comment as well if you have good input or stuff you'd like to see. I love to come up with great ideas for content. I'm not about just selling trucks to people to sell trucks. I want to be a consultant. I want to be an asset to your company as far as knowledge and information. I've been doing this for 15 years. So I'd much rather focus on how I can help you, and then if we end up, selling you something or a product, and I'll continue to support it, that's great. But that's not just what we're here for. We're here to be, a tool for you to use so that you have information and guidance when it comes to purchasing your commercial trucks. But once again, like I said, feel free to call or text me anytime, and thanks again for checking out another one of my videos.